We all know that Jameson Williams is blazing fast, but is he more than just a deep threat? We're going to take a look at his profile, his usage, his advanced stats, and then break down what we see from him on film to see how the Lions use him to his strengths and what he provides for the Lions. And so when we think about Jameson Williams, he's 6'1", 180 pounds with 62nd percentile arm length. Somebody that's 6'1", 180 pounds, depending on their athleticism and their route running ability, could be a vertical X, they could potentially be a Z, or even a slot receiver. In general, he's going to be your vertical X due to his incredible speed, but we do see him in the Z sometimes, and he absolutely does play in the slot. Now, we didn't get to see a 40-yard dash during the combine from JMO because he tore his ACL in the championship game of his final collegiate season. According to him, he would have beat the 40-yard dash time previously set by John Ross of 4.22 seconds. I don't know about that. He's really fast, though. But apparently, 13 weeks after his surgery, he was able to run a 4.4 40-yard dash for the Detroit Lions. And so that is absolutely crazy coming off an ACL surgery. And so Jameson Williams has had 73 targets on the season. He was suspended, so he did miss a couple games, which lowers, obviously, his total volume of targets. So I took a look at weeks 1 through 16, and wide receivers with 73 plus targets, which was 48 total people in the sample size. During this time, Williams ran 413 total routes, which during this time span was 96.9% of the team routes. When we take a look at his utilization, in the slot, he's used 34.5% of the time, so a pretty decent amount, a little bit north of a third of the time. And out wide, he plays 65.5% of the time. So we definitely see some slot utilization, and the majority of the time you're going to see him as an X, but he does play some flanker as well. Looking at his yards per out run, his 2.15 ranks 17th in the sample size. That's really good. His PFF receiving grade overall of 75.2% is tied for 30th. Out of 48 players, that's fine, not incredible. His yak per reception, though, of 8.8 is first among this entire sample size. So in terms of yards after catch ability, it kind of differs. Some players like Deebo Samuel are make you miss kind of guys. And while Jameson Williams absolutely can do that, and I'll show you that on film later, he in general is more of a, I'm going to erase the angle that you think you have and then laugh and taunt you as you get into the end zone about 10 seconds after I do type of a player. Looking at his missed tackles forced, his 2 rank 45th. So like I said, it's not really a huge part of his game in terms of the short area agility, but he can do it. He's more of a, I'm going to erase the angle type of player. Looking at his 5 contested catches, it's tied for 40th. He doesn't have the best hands per se, especially in contested catch situations. His 73 targets are tied for last in the sample size, obviously. His 47 receptions are 47th among the 48 players, but his 890 receiving yards are 20th. And so that means that his yards per catch is rather high, and his 6 touchdowns are tied for 13th. So what we have here is somebody that on a limited sample in terms of the amount of targets in which he's received, maximizes the yardage and touchdowns with those targets. And looking at his yards after catch, his 412 rank 9th in the entire NFL, despite missing some time, and his 2.00 yards of target separation rank 11th. This guy is an electric separator. And so when we take a look at how he performs versus man, zone, in the slot, and on screens, his PFF grade versus man coverage of 80.0 is 24th in the entire NFL. That's really good. His yards per out run versus man of 3.00 is 10th. That's just about elite, depending on what your definition of elite is. However, his PFF grade versus zone of 71.2 is 42nd. That's decent when you consider it's against the entire NFL, but not incredible by any means. And his 1.98 yards per out run versus zone is 33rd, so a little bit better, but not elite. He doesn't have enough screens to really have a PFF receiving grade, but his PFF grade in the slot of 71.2 is 45th. And so that would lead you to believe that he's probably a little bit better on the outside. And as you'll see, a lot of the big plays in which he makes are as a vertical X. And when you look at his first downs caught, his 36 are tied for 27th. And as I've mentioned, he is quite the explosive player. In fact, his 20 explosive plays in terms of rushes over 10 yards or receptions over 20 are third in the entire NFL at this current time. And so what we have here is somebody that whenever the ball's in his hands, he is a really dangerous human being. But what do we see from him on film? Let's take a look. Taking a look at week 1, we have JMO right here. The Lions are going to put ASRB in motion, and then he's going to be running as the ball's hiked. He is going to be setting up for a screen here. You're going to get Taylor Decker, the left tackle, cutting the edge to create a lane for this throw. The Rams are going to be in cover 1 man, so you're going to get a deep middle field safety here, and then you're going to get man coverage throughout. On this play, make note of his short area agility. He makes 2 guys miss in a confined space. It's really impressive. And it showcases that he's really not just this one-dimensional vertical threat down the field. Look at that guy. Makes a miss, makes another miss, fights for extra yards. It only ended up being a gain of 1 because he caught it behind the line of scrimmage. But still, look at the short area agility. Really nice stuff. And now taking a look at the second target for JMO in week 1, he is going to be lined up on the line of scrimmage right here. You're going to get Khalif Raymond in motion, and he's going to run a wheel. You're going to get a slant by ASRB, and he's purposefully going to stop in the middle of the field to free up JMO, who is going to be running an angle route, so he's going to fake to the outside before cutting underneath Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's a really good play call because the Rams are in cover 1 man, and so you're going to have a deep middle field safety here, a robber underneath, and then you're going to have man coverage throughout. And so on this play, make note of the lightning fast speed that Jameson Williams has here and the way in which he times the route so that it falls right underneath ASRB. Thanks to ASRB for a really nice screen. You can see on film, he absolutely pulls away from everybody. There are some people where you need a decent angle. With him, if there is any semblance of an angle for him to beat you, he will beat you to the edge. And it's just a wrap at that point. And here on the last target we're going to look at from week 1, it's a 52-yard touchdown from JMO. He is going to be running a stutter go. It's a really good play call. The Rams, it looks as though they might be in a cover 2 man right now. It's actually going to be a cover 3 match. And so this cornerback is theoretically, Tre'Davious White is going to have a deep third, but he's going to act in man coverage. You're going to get a middle of the field safety here. And so on this play, it's a nasty stutter, and he's going to get held as well and still break free for a ridiculous amount of separation. And this is just a walk-in touchdown. This guy is so dangerous. Single high coverage against the Lions is a terrible idea. And I understand that teams want to be able to stop the run, and so, when you have the extra safety potentially down there, it's going to help out. But this guy, one-on-one, especially against somebody that isn't elite in terms of their speed and quickness, really, it's way, way, way too dangerous. And taking a look at week 2, we're going to get a flood concept by the Lions. David Montgomery is going to head to the flat. You're going to have ASRB on an out, and then you're going to have JMO on a sail. The Lions are quick snapping the ball here so that the Buccaneers don't have time to get prepared, and that was a great idea. So you're going to get Zav McCollum one-on-one against ASRB, and Jamel Dean is going to try to stay in man coverage against JMO. The keyword here is try. It looks as though the Buccaneers are trying to be in a cover 1 man, and so theoretically this guy should be a deep middle field safety, but he's going to play up towards the line of scrimmage, leaving Jamel Dean, poor guy, one-on-one, unprepared against JMO. It doesn't work out at all for the Buccaneers, and what we get is a 50-yard reception. Easy. And look how he paces his route here. He slow plays it at first, runs right at him, and then bursts past him. Jameson Williams has ridiculous strides. And on the second target from week 2, we're going to look at JMO is running a speed out. It's a good call because the Buccaneers are going to be in quarters or cover 4 coverage, so you're going to get 4 deep quarter defenders with underneath coverage by the linebackers. And so on this play, there isn't anything special about it. It's just to show you that Jameson Williams isn't just a pure vertical threat. We already took a look earlier at the screen in which he made 2 people miss, which was really impressive in the short area of the field. And so here it's just to show you that he isn't just a deep threat. And plays like this and having him run routes like this makes it so that the defense can't just stay way deep against him, or you'll just get, burnt for 5 yards over and over again. And taking a look, he only had 2 targets and 2 receptions in week 3. This is one of them. He's running a deep over. You're going to get Amon-Ra St. Brown in motion. He's going to run a deep post. And you're going to get a dig by Laporta. Essentially, Laporta is setting a screen for Jamo. The Seahawks are going to be blitzing. You're going to get this safety pressuring off the left side. You're going to get this linebacker pressuring off the right. The edge is going to do a zone flat right here. And then these 2 linebackers are going to be in hook zones underneath. And it's an invert cover 2 where the 2 cornerbacks on the outside are going to be in deep halves. And so Laporta's dig is going to suck the linebackers underneath. And the over route is going to keep this cornerback out of the play. And so what you have here is a lapse in coverage. And with Jameson Williams, any lapse in coverage is basically a guaranteed touchdown if he's hitting stride. And you'll, if you take note here, at about the 25-yard line is when he starts high stepping. This guy's speed is absolutely ludicrous. Yeah, way too easy. And here we have our first negative play. Jameson Williams is going to be running a crosser. You're going to get the over by Amon-Ra St. Brown. The Cowboys are going to be in cover 2, so you're going to have 2 flat zone cornerbacks. You're going to have 2 half-field safeties deep, and then you're going to have your underneath coverage. Now, the underneath coverage is going to be stuck trying to get with Amon-Ra St. Brown, which is going to create an opening for Jameson Williams here. He is going to have to worry about number 27 here, who is going to be trying to undercut this, but he is way out of position, and at best, he has a chance to tackle Jamo. On this play, it's just a concentration drop by Jamo because he's worried about where other players are on the field instead of just making sure that he catches it. And this happens with everybody, so it's not an incredibly concerning thing as long as we don't see a ton of this on film. But at the same time, it is a concern because if you're throwing an accurate football in space, it should automatically be a catch. And so, like I said, I don't see this a ton on film, so nothing ridiculously crazy to be concerned about, but you do wish you caught it. If you like what you're seeing and hearing so far, feel free to like and subscribe. It's a free and easy way to support the channel, and I'd really appreciate it. And if there's anybody else that you would like to see covered, let me know below in the comment section. Thanks. And here we finally get an example of Jamo against press coverage. It's few and far between in terms of examples of him against press because teams are scared to death to press him, and for good reason. The Lions are going to be doing another flood concept, so you're going to get a deep sail by Jamo. ASRB is going to be on a 10-yard out, and this receiver is going to be on a 17-yard out. The Lions are quick snapping the ball, so that's why the Cowboys seem out of alignment here. They're going to be in a match cover 3, so you're going to have a deep middle field safety here. Number 30 is going to be in his own deep third, and Trayvon Diggs is going to be acting in man coverage against Jamo, and you'll have man coverage throughout here, even though it's technically a cover 3. And so on this play, take note at Jamo get around the press, and then once you're out of position, it just doesn't matter. It's a touchdown every single time. So he gets around the press. He does get a hold of him and try to push him down a little bit, and it still doesn't matter. He is way too fast. And so as you can see, the Lions are going to quick snap him, catch him off guard. Trayvon Diggs misses the jam, tries to hold him down, doesn't work, and gets absolutely roasted. And here against the Vikings, now he isn't going to be targeted on this play, but take a look at this route by Jameson Williams. We already saw a stutter and go. Well, here we're going to see a nasty double move on an out and up. So he's going to fake the out route before heading upfield. Now, Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be running a vertical route up the seam here. And so he's going to be wide open due to a lapse in coverage. And so Jared Goff's going to throw it his way for a free touchdown. But once again, take a look at the route here. Now, I think this was supposed to be a cover 3 by the Vikings. I say that because this guy's going to be in a deep third here against JMO. This guy's going to be in a deep third. Now, this defender stays in a hook zone. And so I would think that this safety here should be deep, but he's going to play it underneath as well. And so what we have here is going to be a free touchdown by Amon-Ra St. Brown. But once again, look at the double move here. Absolutely nasty. And so look, he's going to bite and then whoop. If it wasn't already thrown, that is a walk-in touchdown by JMO. Oh my goodness. Absolutely ridiculous. Another good thing to do with Jameson Williams is to get him in motion. He's going to start out right here. He's going to go in motion before running a speed out. You're going to get Amon-Ra St. Brown on a stab route to get the middle of the field concerned with him. The Jags are going to be in a cover 3, and so you're going to have this deep third defender, this deep middle third defender, and then they're going to slide to the right, and this guy is going to be in a cloud. And so he's going to be the one responsible for Jameson Williams at the bottom of your screen. And so on this play, take note of after the catch, he tries a couple of spin moves, and while it's unsuccessful in the sense of he doesn't really get any yards after catch, look at that. It's still impressive. And you can tell how scared they are of his deep speed by how far off he's playing him here, which allows him to do just that. And then whoop, if the help defender hadn't been there, that probably was a gain of a couple more yards after the catch. And so nothing incredibly spectacular in the sense of it was a short gain, but we're seeing him put in motion. He's running these speed outs, these drags, these overs, these corners, all of these different routes he can run, and it can come from the same exact look. And that's part of what makes him so dangerous, is because he's so fast down the field that teams have to stay back, or if they try to press him, risk getting burnt deep. And so it creates all kinds of opportunities in the short area of the field for him. And we have yet another 60-plus yard touchdown. JMO's right here. First, you're going to get ASRB in motion. He's running a deep wheel. You are going to get a slice route by Sam Laporta, and then you're going to get a deep crosser by JMO. The Jags appear to be in either a cover 1 or a cover 3 look, but it's actually going to be a cover 2, and so you're going to have a deep half safety here. This guy is going to run back for a deep half. He is going to be concerned with Sam Laporta's route right here, which is going to open up a soft spot in the coverage for JMO to exploit, and boy, does he do that. You're going to have linebacker here, Aluakin. He is going to try to stay with Jameson Williams. That does not work, obviously. And so what we have here is yet another example of beautiful, masterful scheming by Ben Johnson, but just these guys are not capable of keeping up with Jameson Williams. The speed, the burst, it's all there. And he hits him with the Marshawn Lynch at the end, too. He may not be the most talented wide receiver on the Lions, but he is the most dangerous. And against the Jaguars, once again, this is going to be a negative play. JMO is running a little stab route right here. The Jags are going to be in a cover 3 match, and so you're going to have 3 deep third defenders with underneath coverage. JMO is going to find a soft spot in the zone here. He is going to be open, but I think he's scared of getting hit here, and so he's going to drop it. Either that or he just stone hands it. It doesn't really matter. And so right here, he finds the soft spot, digs down, squares up. It is a heater, so it's not as if it was delivered with a soft touch, but if he was thrown a soft pass right there, he was going to get lit up. And so, you'll live with these drops, but you would prefer that he catch it, even if it is a heater, 5 yards away. So, yeah, definitely a valid criticism. One more negative play here. Jameis lined up right here. He is going to be running a speed out. The Bears are going to be in zone coverage, but Stevenson is going to be acting in man coverage in the zone in a match against Jamo. And that's not really what's important here. On this play, Jameson Williams is going to be running a speed out. He catches the ball. Stevenson pushes him right after he gets out of bounds and he falls. And so obviously he's not going to be very happy about that. But take a look at what he does. He gets up and throws the ball right at Stevenson's feet. But if you notice, it's right in front of two referees. And so he's going to end up getting flagged for that. And in this circumstance, it's the first quarter in a 0-0 game against the Bears. But the last time against the Bears, when he committed a personal foul for taunting, it did hurt them because it was the fourth quarter. And plays like this, boneheaded plays, even when you are pushed out of bounds late, are going to get you in the doghouse of Dan Campbell if that's a recurring issue. And so, in the grand scheme of things, a little bit of immaturity in terms of his on-field play is a detriment to his game. But, it is also concerning that we have the gambling suspension, his most recent suspension as well. And so that, and combined with the torn ACL in which he had when he came into the league, all of these things put together have been slowing down his progress, which is incredible considering how much progress he's really made. And of course, we're going to end on a positive note. Here, Jamo's lined up at the top of your screen. He's running a deep, skinny post. The Bears are going to be in a cover 3, and so you're going to have 3 deep third defenders, Robber underneath. So in the middle field here, we have Jonathan Owens. He is not going to respect Jameson Williams' speed, and he is going to pay dearly for it. I will show you what I mean. And so take note, he's still in a back pedal. And look at how close. Jameson Williams is in a full sprint right here. And he is, 3 yards away from a backpedaling Jonathan Owens. How he's not out of his backpedal yet is beyond me. It's disrespectful. And this is what you're going to get every single time. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm sure he was yelled at for that. Every single time if you do this against Jameson Williams, he is way too fast, dude. And so we've seen that with Jameson Williams, he's used in the short area of the field on a screen at the beginning of the film in which we watched. We saw that he was used on drag routes, speed outs. But then we also see that he's used horizontally deep down the field with those crossers and deep overs. And obviously deep down the field with his nines. We even saw an angle route, corners. He's used all over the field, put in motion. He is an absolute weapon for the Detroit Lions. And if he can stop getting in his own way with these penalties and suspensions, the sky is the limit. And so with Jameson Williams, remember that he was 6'1", 180 pounds. Somebody with that profile, depending on their athleticism, could be a vertical X, a flanker, or a slot receiver. We saw in film that a lot of the time, especially when he's making his big plays, he is used as a vertical X, but we did see some action in the slot and as a flanker. He played 34.5% of his snaps from the slot and 65.5% out wide. When we took a look at his total yards per out run of 2.15, that's 17th in that sample size of 48 players with at least 73 targets. His PFF receiving grade of 75.2 is tied for 30th, so not incredible, but pretty solid. But his yak per reception of 8.8 yards is first in the entire NFL. And so we saw that despite him finishing last in total volume in this sample size, his 890 receiving yards were 20th among the 48 players, and his 6 touchdowns were tied for 13th. 412 of those yards came after the catch, which was 9th in the NFL, and he has 2.00 yards of target separation. That's 11th in the entire NFL. And we saw that he was the 3rd most explosive players in terms of generating rushes over 10 yards or receptions over 20. His PFF grade versus man of 80.0 was 24th in the entire NFL. His 3.00 yards per out run versus man are 10th. Awesome. However, he isn't quite as good against zone coverage. His PFF grade versus zone of 71.2 is 42nd, and his 1.98 yards per out run versus zone is 33rd. And so on film, we saw that he was used all over the field. We saw corners, deep skinnies, over routes, speed outs, drag routes. And so we see that he's used a lot of times vertically and horizontally, but he's not necessarily asked to run complex routes. You don't want him having to make a ton of cuts. We did see that with the ball in his hands, he was able to make people miss, but he's not the precise route runner that someone like Amon-Ra St. Brown is for the team. And so they're perfect complements. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown running the technical routes with Jameson Williams threatening vertically. And boy, when he gets the ball in his hands, he is a dangerous human being. We did see some issues with concentration drops, and then he does get in his own way in terms of taunting people when he gets angry. And so he is going to have to control himself because it is easy to get in the doghouse of Dan Campbell. But we have seen a tremendous amount of growth, and the guy that we see on film today is somebody that can be used in the short area of the field, in the middle area, and especially deep. And so what do you think about Jameson Williams? Let me know below. I think he's a really good receiver that is growing exponentially. If he could just get out of his own way, the upside is absolutely ludicrous. He's never going to be the most physical guy given that he's 6'1", 180 pounds. But what he does provide for the Lions is a dangerous playmaker. If you want to see more content like this, like and subscribe. It's a free and easy way to support the channel, and I'd really appreciate it. And if there's anybody that you would like to see covered, just let me know below in the comment section. Thanks.